Welcome back to the Green Line Gazette, episode 24. The U.S. takes down Bosnia. We win our first World Cup knockout match since 2002 against Mexico. Not a lot to break down, but at the same time, there is a lot. Of course, the elephant in the room. We're going to be talking about this Balogun red card that was absolutely atrocious. Again, great game though from, of course, Balogun before he got, absolutely screwed over. And then that Tillman free kick was an absolute beauty. But remember, we're on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, and Substack. You can follow me on Instagram at Green Line Gazette as well to keep up with all of our latest work. And, we'll keep you updated when we're posting podcasts and when we're, making infographics and whatnot. But without further ado, we can get right into this. So the U.S., of course, toppled Bosnia 2-0 in SoFi, or not SoFi, it might have been Levi Stadium, technically, I think, and where the Niners play. Of course, Balogun and Tillman both get the goals there. Balogun should have had, obviously he scored he honestly could have had a hat trick. He was just offside for that first goal that got called back when they turned it over right on the top of their 18. And then in like the 50th minute, right before half, he hits the crossbar from inside the 6-yard box somehow. So he was, well on his way to a hat trick. Of course, he gets his goal finally in the 45th minute, an absolutely class finish. Right off his left foot, being able to find the ball at his feet that quick was very impressive, and being able to keep his composure and not just absolutely rocket one at the keeper instead of roll it right under him is, again, exactly what you want to see out of your leading forward there in Balogun. Of course, after the red card, Tillman gets a chance to take a free kick right on top of the 18, and he just dips it right over the wall. Questionable goalkeeping, I guess, from the Bosnian goalkeeper, but at the same time, it still was an absolutely class free kick and went perfectly over the wall. You could watch that replay, that front spinning dip. He definitely, has done that before, obviously. Of course, U.S. were outpossessed about 52-48, but you can expect that when playing with 10 men for about half an hour. Honestly, more, there was 10 minutes of stoppage time, which was pretty nuts. So, yeah, I guess well over half an hour, honestly, probably 36 minutes, almost basically a full half with 10 men. So, yeah, you're going to get outpossessed. You're going to get outshot. Bosnia outshot us 10-8. They were, oh my God, it was terrifying. In the 90 plus, they had, I don't know what, compelled them to do so, but they had 3 shots from deep outside the 18 that missed the post by, and, they had freeze beat as well, but they missed the post by maybe an inch, like these low, like worm burners. And they were just ripping them from like 20, 25 out, and it was absolutely terrifying. So they outshoot us. We had 2 shots on goal. They had 3. Freeze makes 3 saves on the night. Of course, like I said last episode, Bosnia, they're hotheads. Again, they outfoul their opponents. They had 13 to our 7. They also picked up a yellow card in the 80th minute from Stefan Radijevic. They honestly should have had so many more yellows. It was absolutely insane. The shirt tugging, like clear stoppage of play. Of course, their coach picked up a yellow card at some point as well. For I don't know what he was doing. We were leading 1-0 at that point when he got his yellow, and he just was time wasting for his own team and refused to give anybody the ball. So not too sure what he was doing there, but they were grabbing Pulisic and Balogun's jersey, like literally bear hugging them. Couple questionable calls in the box, probably better that they weren't penalties. Honestly, it could have gone both ways, but questionable refereeing. And then, I am at a loss for words for that Balogun red card. You should take all of FIFA and just launch that organization into the sun. Like, genuinely launch them into the sun. There's no consistency. It makes no sense why he was given a red card. Obviously, it wasn't intentional. And if you want to say, oh, well, it's not about the intent. It's about the harm inflicted. Why didn't Paul Van Hecke get a red card in the Morocco game? Why didn't Ismail Saibari get a red card? They were bleeding out of their heads. Oh, but it wasn't intentional. That's right. And of course, dude's literally has his forehead split open. And, if you want to talk about, it's not about the intent, it's about the harm done. Why didn't Sabari, because Sabari was the one who gave Van Hecke that split in his forehead. And then, of course, Sabari got kneed in the head in the box. So what's the difference? If intent doesn't matter and it's only about harm, well, why is that not a red card? That makes absolutely no sense. And what about Omar Alderete in the Paraguay game when he absolutely stomped on Pulisic's calf with his studs? Where's the red card there? Or what about Jordan Boss, who stomped on Tillman's calf during the Australia game? Where's that red card? Or what about Messi? What about Messi against Algeria when you've seen the picture. Everybody's seen how egregious it was, and there wasn't even a card. It was absolutely ridiculous. VAR, absolute malpractice. There wasn't even a card given before the VAR stoppage, and then it was immediately upgraded to a red card. It's actually mental. And you can slow down, and why I say it's malpractice is you can slow down any tackle, any foul that happens in any given game, and it's going to look 10 times worse than it did in real time, because soccer's a fast-moving game. It's a physical game. It's a heat-of-the-moment game. So if you want to just start slowing down every tackle, you're going to – I would assume we give a red card every game then, because it's absolutely nuts that it went from no card, barely even – I don't even know if there was a foul. There might have been a foul originally called, but, of course, no yellow originally. And then the ref watches it in 10x slow motion, and Balogun's not even looking at the defender. He can't even see him, and he just missteps, and then it's a straight red. And the VAR check took maybe 15 seconds, and there wasn't one, fast-paced replay during that VAR check. They showed only slow motion, making it look 10 times worse. So now Balogun was obviously done in the 64th minute. To clear the air, a lot of people have been saying that, like the Prem or like La Liga or whatever, that you can go back and appeal red cards. You can't do that, not in the World Cup. The only thing FIFA can do is lengthen the suspension if they think it was that bad, but they cannot reverse the suspension. So it is 100% confirmed Balogun will not be playing come Monday against Belgium, which is absolutely crushing to the U.S. because that is our best player of this tournament. That is our best forward. That's our most clinical finisher. That's our guy who works the hardest off the ball. That's our hardest presser. And now we don't get to have them against an absolute powerhouse like Belgium because of just absolute insanity from VAR and just horrible, horrible refereeing. Just no explanation for what, conspired last night. And now you got to go against Belgium, who is just a very good team, right? You can say what they want. I've said that they haven't been performing, but you saw it's still Belgium. They were down 2-0 in the 80th minute, and they come back thanks to Yuri Tielemans, by the way, Villa midfielder, by the way. Anyway, thanks to a Yuri Tielemans double, they win 3-2 in the 125th minute after being down 2-0 with, basically 10 to 15 minutes to go. So this is still a very legit Belgium team, and now we are without our best player this tournament, our leading goal scorer. It's nuts. It's just absolute insanity that was allowed to transpire. I guess you got to move on because now there's literally nothing we can do. There's no appeal process. He's not playing Monday. You can only hope hopefully we advance to the round of 8. And he comes back for that. But yeah, you will not see him versus Belgium. You will probably see, if I had to guess, we should keep our same 5 at the back, 3 center back formation with the same midfielders. I think you just take Ballo out and you put Pepe in, would be my guess. I also wouldn't mind a Haji Wright shout instead of Pepe. Pepe didn't look great yesterday, but again, limited time on the ball. So it's hard to make that call, I guess, but I think you stay with the same formation. You just lose your most clinical finisher, which is just absolutely heartbreaking. Again, moving on, right? We can't do anything about that. It's done. It's done. Like I said, this is the U.S.'s only second knockout victory, basically in the modern era. Like before '66, there wasn't really knockouts because there weren't that many countries participating. Like I said, 2002 in Mexico, Tillman just became the second U.S. player to scored a goal off a direct free kick in the World Cup. Of course, the only other person would be Eric Wylanda, or Wijnaldum, excuse me. I think that was 94. I know they were playing Switzerland. I'm pretty sure that was 94. And in the U.S. World Cup, actually. Freeze picks up his second clean sheet of the tournament. He matches our single tournament record held by Jimmy Douglas and Matt Turner. U.S. wins their third World Cup game in a single World Cup, which is now a record. Honestly, could have been 4 with the Turkey game. Like, we're absolutely rolling. I don't know how people feel. I personally would have preferred Belgium, or excuse me, I misspoke. I would have preferred Senegal in the round of 16. We beat them in the friendly, but friendlies are friendly. I just think we match up better, especially in the midfield. Senegal's midfield is a lot weaker than ours, and Belgium's midfield is just as good, if not stronger, than our midfield. So you can say what you want about Belgium. Like I've said, they haven't been great, but from a pure matchup standpoint, I still would have preferred Senegal. I cannot believe they blew that lead at the end there. But yeah, that's a scary midfield, right? You got De Bruyne, you have Tielemans, you'll have Trossard dropping back in there. Right? Like it's they haven't performed, but it's still, they have quality players. So that's who the US has to go up against. Come Monday night, I believe it is. Like, I'm trying to spin this in a positive way, right? It could be worse. I think you could pick up a red card in a more important position, like Tyler Adams. And I only say that, and that's not to discount Balogun. Like I said, he's literally our best player. But thankfully, we have considerable depth at Balogun's position, right? You have Pepe, you have Haji Wright. You could put a Gio Reyna up there if you really need to, right? If it happened to Tyler Adams, you have no defensive midfielders, right? It's just Tyler Adams. So and you know what? And it could be worse, right? It could be Anthony Robinson or Serginho Dest, because if they get red cards and they can't play, we saw how Trusty and Scally played against, of course, Trusty scored, but like defensively, how they played against Turkey. You can't play that 5 at the back with the wing backs and the 3 center backs, because they're not good enough at tracking back, and they're not, enough of offensive threats to actually, threaten Belgium to do anything. So I guess we're lucky in the sense that the player that happened to get the red card, unfortunately, is a player that we have considerable depth at. So like I said, you can expect to see Pepe. You can expect to see Haji Wright. I really wouldn't mind a Haji Wright start, to be honest. I think he needs his chance, and I know it's the round of 16, and it's not really time to experiment, but 18 goals for Coventry this season. That's a club record for the English club. He single-handedly got them promoted. I think he can do it. I think he's been here before. But we will see, right? We will see come Monday. I will be back. It might be a Monday podcast for that Belgium preview where we can go over that game, but that's all I really have to say about tonight, right? Like I said, I kind of called it. Bosnia sits in the low block. I'm not calling myself a genius either. It's not hard to predict how these games go against teams who play low blocks, right? You get the goals where you take them, you break them down, you play faster than them. You don't get trapped in their game. I think the U.S. did a perfectly fine job of not doing that. That game, right? The Pulisic offside goal, the Balogun offside goal, the Balogun crossbar, Pepe had a really good chance. That could have been a 5-0, 6-0 game. Oh, geez. So, all right, is what it is. Game went how you would expect. I'll see you guys Monday. That's all I have. There's not too much to talk about. I just needed to come on here and let it all out about that Balogun red card, because it's just absolute, tomfoolery, right? Launch FIFA into the sun, nuke this entire organization. Absolutely ridiculous. We don't get our best player to be in the round of 16 against a top European side. But that's all I have for now. I digress. Thank you for tuning into episode 24. Remember, Apple, Spotify, YouTube, and Substack. Follow me on Instagram at Greenline Gazette, and I will see you guys Monday.